The story begins with two best friends, Katie, responsible and reserved, and Sloane, bold and free-spirited. The pair is eagerly anticipating a month-long trip to Eco-Field Organic Farms, where they'll work to save up for a shopping spree in New York City. On the morning of their departure, Katie's uncle Jason, a protective cop, picks them up. They spend the night at his home, shared with his girlfriend, before heading to the farm. As they settle in, Sloane suggests they adopt fake names for fun during their stay in town. She chooses Heather, while Katie opts for Ripley. The next morning, Jason drops them off at the bus station, reminding them to use a safe word to ensure their safety. They agree to send Jason a different alphabetically ordered code word at the end of each text. The first word, apple. While waiting an hour for the bus, the girls kill time at a cafe, where they catch the attention of two local men, Jed and Lucas. After introductions, with the girls using their fake names, the brothers offer them a ride to the farm. Despite Katie's initial hesitation, Sloane's pleading look convinces her to accept. But the ride takes an unexpected turn when Jed deliberately bypasses the farm. They eventually arrive at an unsettling house, greeted by Jed and Lucas's mother, who offers them tea and pie. Katie, uneasy, texts her uncle using the safe word, assuring him she's fine. However, the tea is drugged and their vision blurs. Realizing something is wrong, the girls try to escape, but Jed and Lucas quickly overpower and knock them unconscious. Katie and Sloane awaken the next day, chained in the middle of the woods. Jed coldly informs them that this is their new home. He provides basic amenities, a bed, clothes, and a toilet, but the reality is grim. Soon, a man named Boris arrives, clearly the one in charge. Boris confiscates Katie's phone and discovers inconsistencies in their texts, including the fake names and safe word. Katie is forced to explain the code word system, revealing Apple as their safety signal. Later, while preparing to bathe using makeshift showers, the town's corrupt sheriff arrives. Instead of helping, he reveals himself to be complicit in the trafficking ring. To the girls' horror, the sheriff assaults one of them, leaving Katie shaken and Sloane desperately trying to comfort her. Meanwhile, Uncle Jason grows suspicious when he receives the same safe word 2 days in a row. Convinced something is wrong, he contacts the farm and learns Katie and Sloane never arrived. Alarmed, he sets out to find them. Back in the woods, Jed and Lucas welcome a sinister customer, a scruffy, unhinged man who chooses Sloane and drags her into a trailer. Later, another man arrives wearing a disturbing pig mask. He picks Sloane again, leaving her deeply traumatized. Katie, horrified and helpless, tries to console her friend. Jason's investigation leads him to the sheriff's office, where he confronts the corrupt lawman. Here it's revealed that Jason isn't just a cop, he's an FBI agent. He explains his concerns, revealing the significance of the safe word system, and insists that his niece has been kidnapped. As the tension mounts, Jason is determined to rescue Katie and Sloane, unaware of the horrors they continue to endure in the woods. Deep in the woods, chaos brews. The corrupt sheriff has tipped off the kidnappers about Katie's uncle being an FBI agent and exposed the truth about the safe word deception. Alarmed by the threat of federal attention, Boris, the ringleader, orders Jed to kill Katie and Sloane and dispose of their bodies. However, Katie overhears their sinister plan. Meanwhile, Jason retraces the girls' steps, visiting the cafe where he last saw them. The barista remembers everything, including the distinctive truck Katie and Sloane left in. Armed with this clue, Jason intensifies his search. The next morning, Katie informs Sloane of the killer's plans just before their captors arrive with Scruffy Guy in tow. Leaving him to guard the women, the kidnappers depart. Katie seizes the moment and seduces Scruffy Guy, luring him close. Then, in a feral act of survival, she tears his throat open with her teeth. The women free themselves from their chains, their adrenaline surging. Before long, the sheriff shows up, likely intending to finish them off. But before he can act, Katie and Sloane hijack his car and speed into town. They stop at a hardware store to arm themselves, setting the stage for a fierce counterattack. After gathering supplies, they ask the cashier about Boris and his blue truck. The cashier knows exactly where to find him. Elsewhere, Jason's investigation takes him to a local insurance office where he concocts a story about colliding with a blue truck to get the owner's details. Meanwhile, Boris returns to his home, unaware Katie and Sloane have already broken in. As he steps inside, they ambush him with nail-studded tennis balls, leaving him bloodied and pleading for his life. He even offers them money in exchange for mercy. At that moment, Jason arrives outside the house. Inside, Katie and Sloane interrogate Boris about the man behind the pig mask. When he refuses to cooperate, they kill him brutally with a makeshift spear. Jason enters the house moments later, only to find Boris dying and the girls gone. Outside, the sound of engines roaring catches his attention. Katie and Sloane drive off, leaving Jason with more questions than answers. As they stop at a church, a shocking revelation unfolds. The man behind the pig mask is the town priest. Sloane marches into the church to confront her tormentor. With Katie's support, the two overpower him, exacting their revenge. They chain him to the back of their truck, douse him in gasoline, and set him ablaze before driving away, finally feeling a sense of catharsis. But their mission isn't over. Back in the woods, the sheriff captures two new victims, and Jason himself. Before the sheriff can inflict more harm, Katie and Sloane storm in, rescuing the women and turning the tables on him. They tie him up and subject him to a twisted game of Russian roulette. As the sheriff begs for his life, Katie ends the game with a decisive shot to his head. Grateful, the rescued women free Jason but remain tight-lipped about who saved them. Determined to finish their vendetta, Katie and Sloane visit Jed and Lucas's mother. They drug her, just as she had done to them, and drag her to the basement where Jed is tied and gagged. In a scene of merciless retribution, they beat Jed to death with baseball bats while forcing his mother to watch. Next, they confront Lucas. Instead of killing him outright, they hand him a bat and command him to kill his own mother. When he refuses, they shoot him and stage the scene to make it appear as a suicide. The mother, desperate, offers them money for her life, but Katie shows no mercy, killing her gruesomely with a lawnmower. Sometime later, Jason pulls up to Katie's house to take her and Sloane to the airport. Smiling and carefree, the women board a plane to New York City, ready to leave their bloody past behind.